And we got a new perk. Collectibles respawn faster and more slots are filled. I think what that means, and it's not super clear because that writing isn't clear, is that there are certain spots on each of the maps that collectibles can exist in or can appear in. And so it's saying that I think that those locations, more of them will be filled. So that's the more slots filled. And then collectibles respawning faster. I think that's talking about like in camp. More collectible. The collectibles will come back sooner. Yep. Complaining about hunger. Complaining about hunger. Complaining about the Dwarf's Mouse. Talking about the mushrooms growing on bone. Your dad sneaks you a crumbled up soy ration bar from his pocket. Here, have this, he says. I didn't finish it at lunchtime and I'm not hungry. You know that's a lie, but you eat it anyway. You're just so hungry. Yep, we have to work for everything we've been given. Mars. What do you think of my hair? Mars asks, fiddling with the end of one of the twists. I see you eyeing it. I'm growing it out. She sighs and buries her face in her hands. It's so boring here. I am literally watching my hair grow. It is your birthday, so I will give you one of these flowers, I think. Yeah. Well, I've had better birthday gifts, Mars sighs, rubbing one of the petals, but this will look nice in my hair, I think. Thank you. +4 friendship, always good. I think now I do need to relax so that I can get the injured taken care of, so that I can go out and explore again. Even though I don't need to relax yet. Ooh, researching xenobotany. I think we unlocked that fairly recently. We probably should do it. Ooh, we're building our bond with our Ricky again. The garden is such an extravagance. Oh, we've already read that one. I don't want to get rid of either of those. A wild gem card. Alright, moving on to Midwet. You hardly ever see your mom. She's up before sunrise and doesn't come home until well after last sunset, spending all of her time in geoponics. It's like she thinks she can outwork the famine. Never should waste his time on the beans. Cal. He's complaining about the Dwarf's Mouse. Mars. Wanting to study a different kind of biology. Tang. You spot Tang sitting on a large boulder outside the lab. She's eating a pressed soy bar ration with determination, alternating bites with huge gulps of water to wash it down as quickly as possible. What are you doing out here? She stops her grim work long enough to acknowledge your question. I hit the limit on the number of consecutive hours they'll allow me to work in the lab, she says. So I'm taking a break, she says, making mocking air quotes around the sentence. How dare they? That's what I said, Tang replies. They just think they can boss me around because I'm younger. She scoffs. I'm smarter than any two of them combined. Ugh, Tang groans, rubs her bloodshot eyes. I just want to work, you know? It's so frustrating to be deep in the zone and feeling like I'm just on the precipice of a discovery, and then someone tells me that apparently my genius is taking too long. I want them to treat me like I belong there, the way Dr. Instance does, Tang mutters. She actually respects me. They're just jealous that she likes me more. Tang slides off the boulder, and you see the color bleed from her face as she stumbles into you, nearly crumpling to the ground. Oh, she grits out, leaning over while the dizziness passes. I thought the nutritional uptake of that bar would be quicker than a real meal, especially after taking into account the time required to walk to the cafeteria. She trails off, realizing she's clutching her jacket and pushes you away. My apologies, she says, brushing herself off. I am, regrettably it seems, only human. Tang scrubs her hands over her face. Sometimes it feels like I'm a prisoner in my own body, like I can feel myself trapped in this stinking, sweating bag of meat and bad impulses, stuck with the burden of keeping it alive every day for the rest of my life. And her voice breaks. Tang, wait, are you crying? Or say nothing. Are you crying? Tang scowls and wipes her eyes angrily. Reflexive lacrimation. is an evolutionary response to emotional and physical stress. She snaps. In other words, no, I'm not crying. It's just this resentment for my physical form. It reminds me of when I was little, and Instance used the gene tech to give me this body, the right body, only this body's wrong too, she adds quietly. It's right in a lot of ways, but it's still imperfect, it's still human. If I were an AI, everything would be more simple. I could just do my work. I could just do what I'm good at. No messy biological functions, no emotions, just clear and beautiful purpose. I hate this, Tang sniffles. I hate feeling like this. I think you're beautiful the way you are. Start flirting. I'm always here to listen, Tang. Or get over yourself, it's not that bad. I'm always here to listen, Tang. Tangent manages a watery smile as she wipes her eyes. Thanks, she says. I apologize for being all wet on you. It won't happen again. She wipes her eyes and straightens her jacket, then takes a deep breath and holds it for 10 seconds, her eyes closed. By the time she opens them again, she looks ready to go back to work as if nothing had happened. You admire Tangent's determination, but sometimes you think it might come at a price. We have improved her focus card. +6 if this is the highest value. A 2 is never the highest value though, unfortunately. And Anemone. Nema's in the middle of tying her mane of hair behind her face. Oh hey, Selene, she says, hair tied between her teeth. Just about to go for a run. Wanna come? Alright. Back to more exploring. 4 more events, 3 collectibles. I think some of these events can do good things for our food situation, so even though 4 events is not much, and hopefully we don't max out our stress, unless I hit another, end your exploration event. Hopefully we can find something to deal with the food situation, because everyone is still starving. Alright, I'm just following the path to see if I missed anything over here. So that's where the boss event was. Yep, there's a flower. Another event with a Vricky. You come across not just one Vricky, but a whole swarm of them. Mostly just baby ones, about the size of your head. They're all amassed around a massive tree, scurrying up and down the trunk. When you can see the tree itself under the swarm, you notice it's the same pale pink as the baby Vricky. Its tentacle-like roots meander a fairly large distance before plunging into the ground. When the Vricky see you approach, they get agitated, and they look hungry. Definitely hungry. Like dozens of hungry, grapefruit-sized, furry pink spiders. The stuff of nightmares. Your pet, Bright Eyes, doesn't seem, scared at all. If my bravery was up at 50, I could say maybe they aren't so bad. But instead I will fight them, so I can continue on the path. Alright, first collectible use is free. I've seen that a couple times and I always forget about it. $555. 4, 4, 5, 4, 4. Nope. There we go. That was not bad. Could go there. Yeah. Next round. Alright, so now I can use one of these for free on this challenge. 5, 4, 3. You turn into a 4. But only on an end. So I can turn this into a 2. There we go. Something like that. Nice. Well, that wasn't so hard. You smack a couple of them to the ground and the rest scuttle up to the boughs and wait and hide there. You puff out your chest. You puff your chest out bravely and walk on. What do we have here? A herd of flow cows are grazing nearby. You watch them peacefully bob along, occasionally releasing streams of urine or clouds of helium to maintain a steady height. Oh, trying to capture one would be hard. But I think that helps with food, so let's attempt it. 78. Cards with gems are wild. That's neat. So I think what that's saying is that if I do something like this... No, so the number isn't wild. The suit is wild. Okay. Oh yeah, they're already showing up as wild. Okay. I can go something like 2, 3, 4 is what I was gonna do. Alright. Back to planning. Alright, there's not really a good way of getting that because the only 3 I have breaks everything else. So if instead I did like that, 4, 4, 4. 5, 4. Yeah. Yep. 40 points here. Yikes. Yeah, see, that'll get up to an 8 as long as I don't have any other cards. All other cards are 1s and 0s. It's just like, come on. It's just not feasible. 5, 4. Ooh, 6, 5, 4. 2, 2. Wow, we are so far away. I'm guessing a whole bunch of 2s isn't going to do it. No. $27? Huh. What do I have a lot of? +1 to a card and change its suit? Alright, so if we go back to here, 6, 5, 4, then that turns that back into an 8. I mean, I could use a couple logs here, turn this into a 6. No, because the 6 would then give this the highest number, which would give it an additional +6. Let's just fiddle with that idea. So that turns that into a 12. But then as soon as that one goes in, because of the gem, it kills that. Alright. I will take the 20 stress to continue on. Eventually you pick up one of the young females that... One young female that looks underfed and moves more slowly than the others. She seems like an outcast. The others won't let her eat, and they keep chasing and harassing her. She should be easier to catch, and as malnutrition as she is, it may be easier to tame. You get a lasso around her and hold her down while she whinnies in terror and releases her piss ballast to try to get away. You're in the blast radius, but you hold firm. You're able to bop her along behind you all the way back to the depot. Well, howdy, Utopia says when you bring the float cow in. What do you have here? Why, you're a real cowboy, Selene. I'm a mite jealous. She inspects the tired float cow. She's looking a little under the weather, Utopia proclaims. Here's hoping we can nurse her back to health back on the ranch. I'll take her back myself. You can see her anytime in geoponics. 10 kudos and some colony food. And we can continue exploring. Should have just a couple more events tucked around somewhere. You come across a cluster of mushrooms. Are they edible? There's only one way to find out. Well, there are a few ways if you're not a coward. We're going to use biology to identify the mushrooms. Alright, goal 65. 6, 5... What does that turn into? A 6? 4? 6, 5, 4. Next. I'll turn into a 5, right? I just toss up some random cards? Yeah. So that's a 5. 4. 3, 2. There we go. 5, 4, 3, 2. Next round. 6. 4, 4, 4. 28. Sure. Whatever. You're able to determine that these mushrooms are edible. You fill your basket with big chunks of tasty fungus. Utopia is pleased to haul. Great work. Some more biology, kudos, and more colony food. Alright. We've got another event over here. You spent some time working in geoponics, so you know your way around a plant or two. Walking through the area, you notice something different about it. The bare ground feels bouncy, like a trampoline, and the plants all look weirdly stunted. Not a lot can stifle nature here, so it's honestly a little weird that there's no grasses or mosses growing here. 20 perception, notice the strange spongy soil, or 20 biology, notice the unusual biodiversity, or just bounce for fun. We'll notice the biodiversity. All the plants in this clearing are oddly stunted, and there are very few grasses or weeds, as though something has sucked all the nutrients out of the soil. Or wait, is this even soil? You kneel down and take a closer look, more like a kind of dense moss, or coral maybe. You press a hand into the moist, squashy substance. It smells sweet and starchy, like cake. It blankets the ground here in a thick, sponge-like layer, swallowing up everything it touches. Gross. But it smells so good. Just saw that pseudonym said 65. I'm not sure what that was commenting on. Or how long ago it was stated. You dig a large chunk of the sponge cake up to bring back to geoponics. Further analysis is needed, but you have a good feeling about this one. Just a high goal for cards? Yeah. I need to get some better cards. Like, there are cards that are up at, like, 8 points and whatnot. I just need to find some of them. I think that is all the events. I've now found all of them. So time to head back. I still have some stress to use on other things. Yeah. So we will go home. We are now on to Late Wet. Hey, Dis. It is your birthday, so have a fruit? Yeah. But for my birthday? He mumbles. Oh, thank you. This looks like it's from a very rare plant. Did you find it while you were exploring? Yeah. Oh, he wants to talk some more. You catch Dis on a ridge overlooking the wilderness, bobbing his head along to something playing through his earspeak. He doesn't notice you walk up. He jumps when you tap him on the shoulder and scrambles to turn off his holobomb. Don't sneak up on me like that, he grumbles, then flops backward on the grass. To look up at you. Man, I was just getting to the good part of the song. Well, what were you listening to? This looks away. Just some old music from Earth. You probably wouldn't like it. Try me. You sit down beside Dis and extend your hand to link your holopalms. Dis stares at you for a few seconds before pressing his palm to yours, and music floods your brain through your hearspeak. Dis takes his hand back and weaves his fingers together, timid. I like listening to a lot of Earth music, he says. Do you like it? I love this band. Dis cracks a small smile, relieved. Good, he says. It's my favorite right now. I always listen to the same album on repeat. It's comfort music. I really like her voice. He stares into his lap. Sometimes I feel like the lyrics are about me, he admits. They're just so deep. Like my soul really gets this kind of music. But don't tell anyone, okay? It makes me feel better thinking that someone knows my pain, even if it's just a dead Earth woman. Sounds deep, man. Dis nods and closes his eyes. Yeah, he replies. I have a lot of time to think, not like everyone else here. You lie back in the grass and listen to Dis's music for a while. Try to introduce him to new music. If we had the creativity, we could hold his hand and flirt. We'll just enjoy the time with Dis. You and Dis lie in the grass and listen to music, trading different songs back and forth until dark, and the bell rings to close the gates for the night. I do like this song. Planning about Door's Mouse, but we can now ask him what he's working on because our biology is up at 80. Wow. Hal's looking a little sickly. Well, I found this really pretty flower growing in the garden. I've never seen it before. You take a look at it and soon begin to feel sick yourself. Wait, is this plant radioactive? What? It's radioactive, Cal says, backing up quickly. Good thing you knew that. What do we do? You're not sure, but you study it in the geoponics lab. You might be able to figure out how to neutralize the radiation. +2 biology and more friendship with Cal. So hungry. Dang. Hunger pains are intolerable, but it is your birthday as well, so have a flower. It seems you remember my birthday. How thoughtful of you, Tang says, accepting the flower with a dubious look. I'll set this flower aside to analyze later. I am interested in the properties of all of your Tumnan flora. I hope you find it useful. She turns and walks away, then remembers herself. Thank you, she adds, almost as an afterthought. Planning about biology. Mom's looking gaunt from starvation. And our dad is giving us his food. So I am going to now research xenobotany, since we found a couple of plants that we can research. You've been studying the sponge cake you found in the Valley of Vertigo. It's in that oddly squishy trampolini ground. As you suspected, it is a type of fungus. The analysis bench tells you it contains edible starches. Once dried and processed with a maturing agent, acidic spark snow would work nicely. It will make a wonderful flower. The challenge now is cultivating it. It multiplies quickly, and you've seen how it stops anything else from going near it. We can either ask permission from our mom, or plant it in a hidden in a backfield. I'm going to plant it hidden in a backfield. Your mother catches you before you even get it in the ground. How did she know? No, absolutely not, she says before you even open your mouth. Get that out of here before it contaminates my crops. We all know how the pixie bean experiment turned out. She says, I know you've studied the sponge cake, but I'm still not sure about this. Please, Mom? Because our rebellion is less than 30, or I'm sure this is safe, I checked. Biology 20. Please, Mom? She rubs her face. Fine, she sighs. We can try it. I know you wouldn't bring it up unless you really felt strongly about it. You plant the sponge cake in a special field quarantined on the other side of the geoponics domes from the rest of the crops. By the end of the month, you can already tell that it has taken root and will soon start producing viable food soon. You should get your first harvest during pollen, when the sponge swells up and is at its sweetest. Many of the earth crops grow through dust and need to be harvested before wet. This means the colony has more food available year-round. It's going to be an incredible boon. Cultivating the sponge cake. And that gives us 5 colony food, which is why I wanted to get that as best as possible. Like, as soon as possible. Alright. +1 to blue cards. 1 slot becomes a 3. Oh, we can sort our cards. By value or by suit. Cool. 5, 4, 3, 3, 4, 5. There we go. 2, 3, 4, 5, and a 4. There we go. We'll go with that. Apparently it still wasn't the best, but whatever. 6 biology, 2 organizing. You're surprised when you wake up this morning and your mom and dad are both still in your quarters. Usually they're gone long before sunrise. You pull back the curtains and they look at you with big smiles. Selene, your mom says, cradling a mug of blep tea in her hands as your dad rubs her feet. Good morning. Good morning. Someone didn't hear the good news. Your mom replies cheekily, we're announcing it later today, but guess what, kiddo? I think we're going to be okay. She chuckles at your sleepy, confused look. The famine, she explains. We still need to do the work, but we pulled out of it. We got out of the spiral. We're going to be okay. Between farming and foraging, we've secured enough food to make it through until harvest next year. That's great. Your mom salutes you with her blep tea. She looks more relaxed than you've seen her for a year at least, maybe since before you landed on Vertumna. Your dad sighs happily. I'm already looking forward to dinner. I haven't really cooked in ages. What should we have, Selene? Corn on the cob, sponge bread curry? Mom should choose, or can we go straight dessert? Mom should choose. That's right. It was her hard work that saved the colony. Your mom chooses a great big platter of roasted vegetables, peppers, onions, corn. It's sweet and a little spicy, and so delicious. You and your parents cook a private meal in your kitchenette. Your dad does most of the work, but you help. When you sit down for a quiet family dinner, you realize this is the first time you've done this in... you can't even remember how long. You talk about your day in the most mundane way possible. It's so pleasantly normal. You don't even get close to clearing your plate since your body isn't used to so much food, but that's okay. You eat slowly and savor it. Every bite is heaven, and made even better by knowing that you had a real impact on the colony's future. We have finally ended the starving status. Alright, and we are into Glow. This seems on edge, even more than usual. Something's coming, he says, checking his adventuring supplies. Can you feel it? The forest is too quiet. Nem grabs you by the shoulders. Selene, you gotta help me, she says urgently. Mom keeps talking about having... Oh, yeah, we've read that a bunch of times, because I keep forgetting we've read it. Your mom gives you a stern look. Be careful, she warns you. Now that we know for a fact it isn't safe out there during Glow, I won't have you venturing close to the wall. Stay where I can see you, close to the ship. Yeah. Anyone else? I don't think I checked where Mars usually stands. Yeah, Mars is of course not out during Glow. Can I explore? Come on. No. You're way too scared to go out during the Glow season. Besides, the gates are closed. Just looking at our relationships with people. Wow, we're already up at 70 with Tangent. It's crazy. What do we want to do? I think probably rest, because Glow sometimes needs having some stress available. So I'm going to rest just to get that up. There are only a few plants glowing in the garden, so in the dark of glow, you have to do a lot of outdoor work by lamplight. In the eerie, not light, fertile earth dirt looks the same as Vertumnan dirt. It's so hard to see what you're doing. Yeah, I'm keeping the 4 and the 5. Those are good cards. Roar wakes you. It would wake the dead. It shakes the walls, rumbles through the ship's hull, and makes your heart skip a beat. You're paralyzed by a sudden clench of fear in your gut. Through your porthole window, you hear metal screeching and people shouting. Then another roar, guttural and rumbling, like the sound of a mountain collapsing. Something enormous is out there. Run to face it or stay indoors? We're gonna run out and face it. We've got the bravery. We gain heroic again. You don't know what gives you the courage, but you run out to the fields to face the horrible creature face to... It has no face. In place of a face or even a head, its body just unzips, revealing a mess of writhing pink tentacles and blinking eyes pocketed with jagged, asymmetrical teeth. It stands on 4 enormously powerful legs, each as wide across as tree trunks. Clinging to its back and its thick slug-like tail are clumps of lichen that glow faintly in the night. The creature is nearly twice the height of a greenhouse. It's standing on top of a flattened one. The wreckage of lattice and plants all around. Flickers of light from plasma rifles and stun gloves light it from underneath, and the stench of ozone is thick in the air. You see Nem and her brother Calm darting in and around its legs with their twin shocks of red hair. The faceless creature lurches into another greenhouse, oblivious to the soldiers trying to herd it away. The monster left a trail of destruction from where it smashed right through the walls. Smaller creatures are pouring in through the gaps and heading straight towards command. You watch helplessly as the hordes of animals storm command, sneaking through torn away panels and smashing through windows. It's too far away to hear the screams, but Governor Udicott is inside. You have to do something. Question for chat. Do we help Nem and Calm? Do we go to save Governor Udicott? Or do we fight the faceless monster on our own? If no opinions, I will choose for myself. Why sounds like we die? From pseudonym? What is why? Oh, it sounds like we die? I don't think we would die. Fighting the faces on our own probably would leave us injured. No strong opinion, though? Save kids? Is your keyboard not working, pseudonym? Save kids, so help Nem and Calm. Alright. Sure, we will help Nem and Calm. Oh, you're on your phone. Makes sense, then. You run towards Geoponics, picking up a handful of rocks as you cross through the barren fields. When Calm sees you, he gestures for you to flee. Get out of here, Selene, he says. You're gonna get yourself killed. You grip your rocks in defiance. You're sick of being told to hide like a child. You want to help. This is a hard combat challenge. I don't know about this. 71. Oh boy. Bonus to straights, and we already get a bonus to straights from our Ricky. So here goes. Let's organize by number. There we go. 5, 4, 3. Yeah. Next round. Again, sort by number, please. 5, 4, 3, 2. Next round. Again, sort by number. 4, 3, 2. No, because that's gonna jack that all up. 5, 4, 3. There we go, up to 33. Either way, it's a win. Yeah. You try your hardest, but even with the full force of the defense squad, you can barely keep it contained near the farms. You dart in and around the battle, throwing rocks and making noise to keep the abomination's attention away from the rest of the colony. Its tentacles whip around, slapping the ground and knocking into people, picking them up and throwing their helpless bodies like dolls, only to be crushed under its massive trunk-like feet. The fields are littered with bodies of the fallen. Sweat stings your eyes, but you somehow stay on your feet. Others aren't so lucky. "Selene, watch out!" Calm cries, and you look up just in time to dodge the wet slap of a tentacle, tripping over a body and sprawling to the dirt yourself. The Faceless makes a horrible noise from deep inside its craw, flecking you with spittle as your guts liquefy from the near miss. You're close enough to feel the sick heat radiating off of it. It doesn't have a face, but you realize with horror that it sees you. Zit! The beam of a plasma rifle arcs over your head, and the Faceless roars again and turns its terrible attention to Calm. You scream and uselessly cover your ears and cover your head as it lumbers over you. As you scramble to your feet, you see Calm go flying through the air. He lands a few meters away with a sickeningly wet crunch. Nem cries in horror as she runs to Calm's side, but it's too late. His body is bent at an unnatural angle, his eyes open and his face frozen in stupefied terror. He looks unreal, like a wax mannequin. He's just gone. Like that. Nem lets out a primal scream of pain, and you can see the thought ignite in her mind, contorting her face with ugly fury as she stands up to launch herself at the Faceless again. You grab her arm, and she yells at you in wordless rage before collapsing to her knees, throwing her body over Calm's and sobbing like the scared teenager she is. You can only stand and watch. You hear a colossal cracking noise and look up to see the Faceless stumble towards the stratospheric. With a roar that shakes your very molecules, it loses its balance for the last time and falls onto the ship. Metal screams as the ship buckles and gives way. Whole pieces of the quarter's wing shear off as your home opens like a tin can, spilling its contents into the square. The strato lurches, then collapses under the creature's weight. The abomination is slain, but as wails of grief join the whimpers of the dying, you have to wonder, at what cost? The council calls an all-colony meeting to face the aftermath of the attack. In the oppressive gloom of Glow, you gather near engineering with the other survivors. It's one of the few buildings still standing. The corpse of the Faceless still sits in the caved-in wreckage of the stratospheric, spilling its flaccid pink tentacles from its horrible zipper-toothed maw. It's already beginning to stink. You can't forget what you saw. Your mind keeps replaying that terrible moment, the Faceless rearing up and obscuring the sky, Nem and her brother looking so small before it. Governor Udicott was killed by the smaller creatures that swarmed the command during the attack. In her absence, Seek addresses the colony. The council acknowledges the bravery of the defense squad, citing their heroism in finally taking down the Faceless. Geoponics is gone, the greenhouse is destroyed, fields trampled. After a year of suffering, starving, only to barely scrape by, you're not just back to where you started, it's even worse. The entire front half of the stratospheric has been destroyed. The living quarters, the canteen, the garrison, the lounge, even the creche, it's all gone. It's only by some stroke of luck that people hiding in the creche weren't all killed. Seek solemnly reads the names of those who lost their lives, too many, including Governor Udicott. You all stand for a moment of silence. You feel the weight of loss like a blow to your chest. Nem and her family cry out when her brother Calm's name is called, and their quiet sobbing continues through the silence. With the living quarters destroyed, everyone moves into the engineering wing for shelter. You're crowded into the classroom with the other families. The adults try to make it seem like a sleepover, but you're all still so shaken. Nem cries about her brother and screams at anyone who tries to comfort her. Eventually, you just ignore her grief, as painful as it is to hear her sobbing at night. You feel like you've been awake for days and you'll never fully sleep again. You try, but you keep jerking awake, crying out in fear. Eventually, you fall asleep, sitting up, held in your father's arms. Your sleep is fitful, but mercifully dreamless. We gained in morning. Let's rest for now. Alright. We have made it to a new year, and oddly it isn't giving us the summary for the year, but we have played through 2 years this session, and I think that is a great stopping point. So we will see how we are to continue next time after so much destruction of our colony.